What's good, Cover One crew? Welcome back to the show. Hope everybody's doing great. Hope you had a great weekend. Mine was stellar, and I'm excited because it is Super Bowl week. Super Bowl 57 between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. Patrick Mahomes taking on Jalen Hurts, two of the premier quarterbacks in this league. It should be an absolute great contest. I'm excited for it because, it's football. It's the final game of the season. And then we got a long off season before we get some football back on the field. Don't worry, I got you covered throughout the entire off season, so do not go no place. Got rookie scouting reports, get you prepared for next year's fantasy draft. Rookie scouting reports for all your favorite teams, not just your fantasy football team. So definitely stick around. I got you covered in that respect. But do me that favor, smash that like button and hit that subscribe button if you dig the content. Truly appreciate y'all, man. Thank you so much for all the support as we kicked off this channel just a short 2 months ago, and we're growing steadily, so I really do appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. But what do you guys say we talk a little game day preview for the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles? So I realize it is early in the week, and we still got a full week of, Super Bowl prep to get through. Why not talk about this game early? Because there's going to be so many storylines that are coming out. This is pegged as the Andy Reid Bowl. And we got to talk about some Andy Reid. He's this guy. I was debating and talking with some of my buddies, and he brought up the point in saying Andy Reid should be in the same, tier as a Bill Belichick, obviously minus Super Bowl victories, but he should be in that same realm of high-end consistency. And I tend to agree. Andy Reid is becoming one of the top coaches ever to perform and to coach in this league. Two separate teams, Super Bowls with both teams, Super Bowl victories with the Chiefs. Almost got there with the Eagles and won that championship, but he has been uber consistent, done it with multiple quarterbacks, McNabb, Vic, Mahomes, Alex Smith, and he's consistently won football games. So right now, this game is being played Sunday, February 12th. We got a full week of prep, like I said. Kansas City 14-3, the Eagles 14-3, and okay, as much parity as there is in the NFL that we know and we see on a daily, who could have predicted the two top teams record-wise would be in the Super Bowl, in the dance, in the big show? But, they definitely deserve it. Kansas City, the tougher road, obviously, in my opinion, getting to this game over the Eagles where, the criticism can still be said, are they completely battle-tested? And this is going to be one of those things. And every time I keep questioning these Eagles, they keep punching me in the face and saying, look at what we are and what we're going to do. And I tend to agree. They're an extremely well-rounded squad, extremely well-put-together team. Jalen Hurts took his game to an absolute another level this entire season. This is what I wanted to see. So, yeah, I had my doubts. I'll admit that on a Jalen Hurts. It was no disrespect. It was more of the fact of being a talent evaluator like myself in saying I want to see his game progress. Same knocks I had on a guy, perfect example, like a Josh Allen. Everybody said he was going to bust. His accuracy was piss poor. He couldn't throw the ball with high regularity and accuracy. Look what happens when they progress. I said, be patient on a Josh Allen. I did say the same things about a Jalen Hurts. I said I wasn't necessarily convinced he was going to be the elite passer in this league, but I said I wanted to see progression, and I'll leave that window open for him to show it, and he definitely did. What is the elixir in this, formula is getting a guy like A.J. Brown on the team. Lifted everybody on this offense. No kidding. You get a true alpha dog wide receiver on your club, like an A.J. Brown, it's going to uplift me as the quarterback. I'm telling y'all, this is how it goes in the NFL. Just like we saw with Josh Allen, it was Stephon Diggs. I know I'm talking about my Bills. I got to throw them in there somehow. But, hey, we'll talk about these Chiefs as well. Typical standard for the Kansas City Chiefs. They are the cream of the crop in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes is the poster boy for the league. As much as it hurts me to say that, I already admitted Tom Brady's the GOAT. What are you guys doing to me, man? Just give me something over here. Give me a freaking bone. I'm dying over here. But okay, fine. Patrick Mahomes, what he's been able to accomplish in these 5 years is nothing short of astounding and unbelievable. This guy, when you talk about his game, what he was able to do last week on that bum ankle, the high ankle sprain, we know anywhere from 2 to 5 weeks of injury recovery. This guy tapes it up. They didn't even shoot it up with any cortisone or anything that I heard. They said he turned it down, the shot. They didn't require it, just taped it up really well. This guy is the tough of tough quarterbacks. You can't knock that on Mahomes. He wanted to come back in that game earlier the week before, and he threw his jacket down when they had to go do some x-rays. But I'm telling y'all, this guy is a tough man. He wants to win, and you can't hate the heart. Does Patrick Mahomes getting all the penalty flags come his way? Does it bug me? Yes, it does. And I think a lot of fans are, coming to that, determination as well. It's annoying, man. If the refs want to let them play and see how the game goes out. Quit giving all the calls to the Chiefs because, they are the NFL poster boy. Comes with the fact of saying that a lot of people were thinking, is the NFL rigged with what we saw with some of these no calls and then forced calls for the Cincinnati Bengals? I mean, we conspiracy theorists come into play, but I'm telling y'all, it wasn't called fair. If you're going to let this game play, let it play out unless it's something outrageous that you have to call. Then I understand. But don't be ticky-tacky calls all over the field. The taunting, get rid of that in this game. I don't want to see one taunting call outside of, an outrageous hit on the quarterback that's late. I do not want to see no late quarterback hits. Let these gentlemen play it out and see who is the best team standing at the end of the day. This game obviously is being played at Glendale, Arizona, the home of the Cardinals. It's good. No weather is going to really impact this contest, which is fantastic. I hate it when it, any kind of weather, cripples the game overall. You want to see these guys play on a neutral site. You want to see weather there, and hopefully the fireworks are going to follow as well. Early spread opening up out the gates is -2 for the Philadelphia Eagles. Almost 50 points for the over-under. They do expect a lot of points on this board. I could almost see it the other way. Just a little bit could see it the other way, where we could see a little bit more clock control early on in the first two quarters, and maybe in the second half it does open up a little bit. But I do like the fact of how the Eagles play ball, and they could limit how many opportunities Patrick Mahomes does get on the field. But Patrick, man, he's gonna make every shot count, every opportunity count, and he's gonna put up points with high regularity on the board. So let's talk some keys to victory for these Kansas City Chiefs. In Mahomes' mobility, the high ankle sprain, like I said, 2 to 5 weeks is typically the high ankle, typically on the latter side of the 5 weeks. 4 to 5 weeks is usually when you see it come back, and it still lingers. So this week off is extremely important for Patrick Mahomes. Got to get healthy, got to get that thing right. They're going to tape it up, and he's going to be ready to go. But he was, visibly, had visible lack of mobility, I should say, in that past contest versus the Cincinnati Bengals, but he still was able to throw over 350 yards. So it's Mahomes. Everything this man does on the field, just ridiculous. He's a warrior. He's elite. And there's nothing else we can say. MVP award, Super Bowl champion already, third Super Bowl in 5 years. What else can you say, man? It is Patrick Mahomes, cream of the crop. And that mobility is going to be the key question of how healthy is that ankle coming into this game. Using Jerick McKinnon, I think, is going to be extremely imperative in this contest to keep them off balance. I think they did pull the poor usage in the AFC Championship game because I think that Cincinnati was banking on that usage quite a bit. They used Isaiah Pacheco a little bit more, limited how much they were using McKinnon. That was interesting to me, and I think it was, a foreshadow of what could potentially be used more in this contest versus these Philadelphia Eagles, because now it's they do that Jekyll and Hyde, the Kansas City Chiefs and Andy Reid. They take something away to make you believe they're changing their dynamic and how they want to attack you, and then the next week they come out and they hit you hard with that same dynamic. Kind of have that feeling that this is how this is going to go. Jerick McKinnon could have himself a very big day PPR-wise, reception-wise for non-fantasy players. But feed Travis Kelce is another key, obviously, as always. He's the standard in this offense. If the Eagles do not double-team Travis Kelce, it's time to force-feed Travis Kelce a lot in this game. Something like we saw with Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski in his final Super Bowl where Gronk scored 2 touchdowns. It's Kelce, man. He's one of the best tight ends to ever play this game. He is the best offensive weapon that the Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs have at this point. So you got to continuously force-feed Travis Kelce. And, if he is singled up, good Lord almighty, that they're going to be hitting that all day long. Get Juju Smith-Schuster involved. is very important. He's been so quiet of late, and that's another one of those Jekyll and Hyde moments. Maybe it was done on purpose. Don't have enough tape. They're kind of going away from a juju, and then that's when Andy Reid comes back and says, "Oh, here you go. I showed you this early on in the season. Now I'm coming back to it." And I think that's a very important standard for this. However, the Eagles' secondary is very, very good, and they got a lot of playmakers, a lot of talent that can lock up these wide receivers. So Juju's going to have to play his best game of his entire career. Get open, get some balls, even if he's the possession guy, third down, 5, 3rd and 4. You got to get those first downs and convert so that the Chiefs offense can continue to move. But you know that they can hit you in multiple ways. Run the ball with Isaiah Pacheco. Use McKinnon in the pass game. Travis Kelce, obviously, enough said. Juju, MVS had a big game last week. Sky Moore makes some plays on the punt return. These are the types of things. They're just so, multi-dimensional. They're extremely tough to stop. On the defensive side, keep Hurts in the pocket. And I'm seeing a trend here, especially when, and I'm going to bring up Josh Allen again, because I saw it when it came to the Bills and the Dolphins. The Dolphins started to understand how to play Josh Allen and not let him out of the pocket. We're seeing a lot of teams right now play the running quarterback exactly the same way. It's a copycat league, and they're going to continuously do that. It's no more going pin your ears back to go after a running quarterback. Now you kind of, keep your position and do the contain where you're kind of using the offensive lineman as your shield of your contain. Even if a hole does open up and arise, that's when the defensive line starts to collapse on that hole, and then the quarterback has nowhere to go because the outside contain movement is now crushing on the backside. There's nowhere for the rushing quarterback to go. It's a very intelligent system. You're rather, containing rather than full-on rushing the quarterback, and it's very interesting to me. You got to keep Hurts in the pocket. You got to play that one extremely well, because if he starts to burn you and they get this run game going, it's going to be a long day for this Chiefs defense. Limit the Eagles' run game, like I just said. I mean, Jones and Clark, they got to have their best days. Jones is just an absolute beast and a freak. He can take double teams with the best of them and still make plays in the backfield, get penetration, and I completely believe that he's going to continue down that path in this contest as well. But you got to stifle this Eagles run game. They are so good. They can hit you with 3 different running backs: Miles Sanders, Boston Scott, and Kenny Gainwell. You can get hit on all phases with either one of these individuals, and then if you don't have Jalen Hurts contained, he can gash you on the ground. So it's very important that they got to understand how to play Jalen Hurts. And I mean, if the play action pass does work, maybe we see a little bit more of an A.J. Brown. Confuse Jalen Hurts just a little bit more with some interesting coverage schemes. I think that's going to be key as well. Kind of saw it in San Francisco last week. That's why they went back to the ground game. They found something on that left side versus the 49ers, and it worked to perfection. The offensive line for Philly was blocking, unbelievably well versus a great 49ers defense. And this is, I want to say, like a tick down, if not a couple ticks down from the 49ers stellar defense. The Chiefs front 7 is good, but you got some issues on that secondary that you're going to really see a lot if Jalen Hurts is going to start spreading the ball around through the air. So I do believe you got to take away the strength of the Philadelphia Eagles, and that is in this run game. Force Jalen Hurts to beat you with his arm. As much as I'm promoting a Jalen Hurts and his throwing ability and how he has progressed, I think that's the key to do it. Do not let this Eagles team get into motion on the ground. Force Jalen Hurts to beat you through the air, and I think that will be to the benefit of these Kansas City Chiefs. As for the Philadelphia Eagles, keys to victory: run, and run the damn ball. Continue to what has worked and got you here this entire time. Like I said, you're so good at the ground game, best in the NFL. Jalen Hurts, I mean, he is just an absolute danger every time he has the ball. If he escapes the pocket and there's room, no man coverage for the Chiefs. I'm telling y'all, do not do it unless you absolutely have to, because if Jalen Hurts sees defensive backs to his eyes, he's taking off and he's going to get first downs. But like I said, run the ball extremely well. Miles Sanders has had a fabulous season, fabulous campaign. Change of pace between Boston Scott and Kenny Gainwell. It's been working to perfection, and you can definitely exploit this Chiefs defense that has been gashed this season on the ground. In multiple contests, the Chiefs have had an issue stopping the run, so if they can continue, that offensive line in Philadelphia is just unbelievable. They can, bully the best in the business and do it with efficiency, so I definitely expect the Eagles' offensive line to have a dominant performance once again, and that's going to open up lanes for these running backs to gallop through long drives, to start the game, control control the clock a little bit, score touchdowns over field goals. That's a key for the Eagles as well, even though I do believe the Eagles are, they're capable of putting up 30 points without even flinching. Like, that's how good this team is. They can beat you in many different ways. Screen passes, short outs, deep balls to A.J. Brown, run the ball. And, always keep them guessing. We see Nick Sirianni last week where he kind of got stuffed on 2 drives, came back, like I said, found something on that left side, and was able to exploit him on the ground. He's very good in-game adjuster as well as a head coach, so that's why I do like that about their run game, because they're not going to give up on it, and they're going to continue to try as much as they can. And long drives, control that clock, keep Mahomes a little chilly on that sidelines, even though it is in the desert. He's going to be warm anyway, but keep him off the field as long as possible. That's kind of your game plan. I don't necessarily think you want to get into a full-blown shootout with Patrick Mahomes, so the more you keep him on the sideline, the better it's going to be for your team, but you got to finish those long drives with touchdowns over field goals. Find creative ways to get A.J. Brown the ball. This is a very important point because, we see when A.J. Brown, his problem that I still see today, and it always bugged me, was when he's not involved in the game plan early on, he does get cold, and then he does start dropping balls. Man, they traded for you, and they paid you a boatload of money. It's time to, cash in and make those plays when they're thrown your way. A.J. Brown is a dog. He's an elite wide receiver in this league. No kidding about that. But you do notice the concentration drops from an A.J. Brown from time to time. That cannot happen in this contest. You got to find ways to get A.J. Brown the ball, even though Devonta Smith is going to be that consistent, reliable secondary piece like he has been all season long. I think you got to get A.J. Brown involved in this game. The secondary in Kansas City is not necessarily up to par to compete with a guy like A.J. Brown, and he could have a very big day. But for the Chiefs, they got to double A.J. Brown as well as stopping the run game. That's a tall task in itself, so I don't know if we're going to see a lot of doubles on an A.J. Brown, especially if the Eagles do find their way to get a big run game going. Dallas Goedert, man, he could be this X factor. He's been extremely quiet since coming back from his injury, had some, flashes of genius and brilliance since he came back from that injury. But I think he could be a very big player in this contest. Something that the Eagles, have gone away from. How I kind of said, Andy Reid goes away from certain aspects of his game. I think they're kind of utilizing Dallas Goedert potentially as this player in this game to take over when required. They're going to try to cover A.J. Brown. They're going to try to cover the Devonta Smith. Who's left? It's Dallas Goedert, man. And, I think based on the coverage and the linebackers and the safeties that the Chiefs have, Dallas Goedert is a mismatch, especially if he is one-on-one. Somebody's going to be one-on-one in this game, and I do believe Dallas Goedert could be that guy, and he could be a big target friend of Jalen Hurts in the pass game. Pressure Patrick Mahomes on the defensive side with the front four, and Hassan Reddick. He came to play last week, took Brock Purdy out of that game, broke his elbow basically. He's got the Tommy John now, so Hassan Reddick, he was as advertised when they got him this offseason on the open market, and this is everything they needed. Another stellar pass rusher, get after Patrick Mahomes, and I know a lot of people are saying, do not blitz Patrick Mahomes, but that ankle, if it is not 100%, I'm bringing some heat on a Mahomes because I know my secondary can keep up with their wide receiver core, and I think it's going to make life a lot more difficult on Mahomes. You got to get him rattled just a little bit, even though he is Mr. Ice. Bring the pressure on Patrick Mahomes, make him uncomfortable, make that mobility test, and even if he does tweak that ankle a little bit, because the healing process, like I said, is 2 to 5 weeks, they tweak it just a little bit, this game will definitely change with an injured Mahomes. Double Travis Kelce to save your life. I don't give a shoot. I was going to swear on that one. I don't give a crap what you guys say, any analyst says. Travis Kelce is the best player on this offense. You got to take him out of this game. Double and triple team this man if you have to. And I'm telling y'all, it'll be a key to success. Force someone else to beat you. Force a Sky Moore and MVS to beat you. That is your MO in this contest. You got guys like Slay. You got Bradbury. You got Gardner. And I'm telling you, these guys can play ball. You can basically one-up on each of these guys. No need for double teams outside of Kelce, and you're going to be able to do some damage. So you got to double Kelce and force someone else to beat you on this roster. I'm telling y'all, it's extremely important. And as we go, Super Bowl 57, the season is basically over. Two very stellar teams, to compare. And you want to side with a Patrick Mahomes. If he was fully healthy, I think I'd be picking a Mahomes. I really would. If as the week continues to go on, we're going to understand how healthy he is or he isn't. So, it's very interesting that way also. But -2, the odds makers, they're pulling on my heartstrings a little bit. I do believe that the Eagles, the coaching may come into play as well. Andy Reid's got more experience than a Nick Sirianni. If a mistake does happen that way, that could be to the benefit of the Chiefs. But all things said, you gotta love how this defense is and how the Eagles' entire roster compares to the Kansas City Chiefs. They are the better roster overall. They have more depth. They have more skilled positions that are on top level end than the Kansas City Chiefs do at this point. You gotta believe it, man. This roster in Philly is that good. Should I start singing the Fly Eagles Fly song? Because I think that's what's coming. I think as we sit today, barring any unforeseen injuries that happen this week, let's hope not. I want to see healthy rosters. I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles to win the Super Bowl. I think it's their time. I think that they've proven, even though they aren't necessarily full-on quote-unquote battle-tested against the top-end teams in this league, you got to love what they're doing, and they're put together, and they're on a mission, and, they just don't stumble. So I do believe that Jalen Hurts will get his very first Super Bowl, and, the contract is going to come after that for him. So I'm begging it right now. I'm saying the Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl 57 champions. It's going to be a fun week, no kidding. So there it is. That is the final contest for the the NFL season, I should say, the 2022-2023 season. That's it. It's all that's done. No more until next year. September's a long way away, I'm telling y'all. So you're going to be watching a lot of replays, and you're going to be watching a lot of my videos, right? So I know you're going to do that. But, it was a fun season. Appreciate the ride that you guys took with me this year, with the fantasy football. But like I said, I ain't going no place. And, there's going to be tons of content for you. Enjoy the game. It's going to be a good one. And, any Eagles and Chiefs fans, good luck to y'all because it's going to be a good contest. No kidding. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts, and we'll see you next time. I am out.